What the hell is happening to Uzumaki anime adaptation? What the hell is happening with his anime adaptation? Now, let's all be truthful here. Any Junji Ito fans out there is not shocked by this. Yes, Junji Ito makes some amazing horror stuff. Like his works, his mangas are just so freaking good. But unfortunately, as we all know, with anime adaptations, they're all pretty much horror stories in themselves. There cannot be a single properly and well done anime adaptation of Junji Ito's work. Now, Gyo was decent. It was a decent film, but unfortunately, they skipped like one of the best parts of that manga. That's the unfortunate thing with his works. They don't adapt some of the best of his manga, and at the same time, they never really truly capture his artwork. Now, with Uzumaki, yes, this adaptation so far has been pretty much a train wreck. I mean, we knew about Uzumaki getting anime adaptation a long time ago, like some 5 years ago. And it seems like they just started adapting it like literally 3 months ago. That's the problem that we're having. Or they spent quite a bit of time with episode 1, but everything else they're kind of just thrown together at this point. Now, yes, for all those that don't know, if you're looking online on social media right now, you're seeing this one clip from episode 2, and it looks bad. I joked about the fact that it looks like they took the turning mechanics and animations from Resident Evil 1 PlayStation 1 and had the character turning with his feet flat on the ground, sliding around in CGI. It doesn't look good. But I'll argue the whole thing isn't good. Now, yes, visually, episode 1 of Uzumaki looks good. Like, yes, I already knew based on the PVs they were going to use a lot of CGI. If it wasn't going to be something very artistic and warping, it's going to be done with CGI. You can see the movements and everything, the way they turn and everything. But at least with episode 1, they were putting a really cool filter on it. They were putting a lot of extra detail on there to kind of make it feel alive. And I thought they were doing a pretty good job with episode 1. But yes, episode 2, less so. A lot of that detail and whatnot in the hair and everything starts to go away, and it just becomes nothing but CGI models for the most part, just running around. And that's the unfortunate thing there. But I will argue that's the least of its issues. Well, yes, it's a really easy thing to clip, and everybody's freaking out on social media saying it's all ruined because of this one, like, 3-second segment. Not 3 seconds, more like 6-second segment, where you have Kazunori is being chased by his family. That little segment is the least of the problems. The bigger problems is that the pacing is horrible, and they're skipping so much crap. They made this entire thing into 4 episodes. This massive thing into 4 episodes. And you know what that means? They're skipping so much of this, and thus the pacing is crap. Like, yes, it's fine if you know the story. You're going to get the context and the emotion of the characters, but I already felt in episode 1, you're skipping a lot of stuff. Like, there's no build-up to Azami. Like, in the whole episode 1, there's a build-up to Azami, the one that has the scar on her head. For those who don't know what the series is about, basically, it's a town that suddenly out of nowhere, everybody starts getting obsessed with twisting stuff. People start getting twisted up, just like the spirals that the title leads you to believe. Everybody starts getting twisted. They start seeing clouds that are twisting, the creeks are twisting. This guy, Shuichi's father, is getting obsessed with things that twist, and then at some point, everything starts twisting up. You have Azami here, who everybody likes the scar on her forehead, and at some point that starts growing into a twist, and this guy is getting sucked into it and everything. It's twisted. Jokes aside, it is twisted. Everybody in the town is becoming twisted. Hair's getting twisted. People are turning into slugs and everything. It's just everything is warping in this world. But the problem is there's no buildup. There's literally no buildup. Like, it literally opens with it's happening. It's already happening. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's just reacting to the twisting. There's no build up to anything. Again, like I said earlier, Azami, who has a scar on her forehead, there's this whole long segment talking about her personality and how some people don't like her and all this kind of stuff. There's tension in the school itself. But no, it's meeting Azami, and then over here some dude's obsessed with Azami, and then Shuichi meets up with her later on, and then she starts sucking up stuff and disappears. There's no build up. It's just completely just jumping to the points. The whole situation with Shuichi's mother, the idea that she's literally losing her mind. They show a brief segment of her cutting off her fingertips, which was really unsettling, by the way, and they did a good job with that. But there's a whole bunch more to that. They're just skipping to the bullet points, basically. This is more than visual. Again, it's easy to see in clips and social media and stuff. The bigger problem is what you can't clip. That they're skipping so much stuff, and all this context is being lost. There's a whole segment with Kyrie and her father. They're skipping it. There's a whole segment with Kazunori and him initially, when he first gets punched, he's already twisting. No, it jumps straight to them being chased down and he starts twisting. There's no context to anything in this entire story. It's just jumping to the punchlines. And that's the bigger problem this is having. So, in the end, this is one of those cases where I don't think I'm going to finish it. Just like with a lot of Junji Ito stuff, I just don't really feel like finishing it. This is one of those cases where this is pretty much what's supposed to be my first impressions. I'm already jumping to the point here. My impressions of Uzumaki as an anime, read it. There's no point in watching this because all you're doing is getting the punchlines. You're not getting any of the buildup. What Junji Ito does so well is unsettling and just building that unsettling, building it up. There's no punchlines quite yet. You're just building up the unsettling. This is unsettling. This is unsettling. What this is doing is going, look at the results of the unsettling. Jump to the punchline. Look what happened. Wow, isn't it unsettling? No, you missed the buildup. You missed the explanation. You're just jumping to the gore. That doesn't do anything for me. You're like a Western film that's so focused on the jump scares. Junji Ito is not jump scares. He's not jump scares. He's unsettling. He's unsettling. That builds up. I think the camel's back was definitely the end of episode 2. The moment they had the lighthouse turn on, what? Like that's supposed to be your massive point? Like the way they portrayed it in the manga is so much more impactful. There's so much more ominous to it. Not just a light. Not just a light. What is this? It's terrible. And yes, like a lot of people are pointing out, this is a lot to do with the fact that it seems like the production for this is horrible. Now, I don't think what we're currently seeing with the production is really the biggest issue. Because yes, you can see online, you can see in the cast scroll. If you look at the cast scroll for episode 1 and episode 2, they're drastically different. There's a different director. There's a different studio. There's different animation directors. There's tons of people. Like, I think even if you look at the cast speed as it's scrolling, episode 1's like this and episode 2's like this. Like there's so many people involved because it seems like they were just throwing it everywhere. They were just trying to get it done. Hey, can you handle this segment? Here, take care of it. Hey, can you handle this segment? Here, take care of it. There's no like cohesiveness to it. It's just everywhere. And that's being shown in the quality visually. But I think the biggest problem, again, the root of the problem that nobody is pointing out is that from the get-go, it was ruined. Because whoever did the storyboards and the script for this, whoever said do it in this many episodes, the producers or whatever, that's where it failed. It already failed from the get-go. They said adapt this much, make it into this many episodes, you have this much time, you have this runtime, fill it. And you can't fit this much into 4 episodes. You just can't. You're going to have the same situation with every single thing else that they've adapted with Junji Ito, is they adapt the key points and they miss all the ambience. They miss all the buildup. They miss all the unsettling. There's so much context that you're missing by doing that. It ruins the entire thing. It ruins what makes Junji Ito so great. It ruins that. And it's extremely unfortunate. That all said, I don't want to be completely negative here. I think, again, with episode 1, they did a really good job. How well they captured his art style, even with CGI, was great. With some of those more unsettling shots, like with the father and him doing the twisting and everything, his tongue twisting, looked great. And yes, that's all the shots they used in the PV. They wanted to make sure everybody's seeing the best parts. Those are great. Good job there. Hats off to you. It's just unfortunately, again, like I said before, even with episode 1, they skipped so many great points. They skipped the mom with the scissors. Yes, they got the finger part, but she did something else with them. She did something else with the scissors. It's crazy how much context is lost when it's not in the right hands. When there's seemingly no passion whatsoever for the project they're working on. Do these people just not care about Junji Ito? Do they not even know who Junji Ito is? That's the question mark. When you have so many overseas people working on the project, do they even know who Junji Ito is? Yes, even though I'm a little upset about the whole skipping most of Azami stuff, like I said, at the very end, when she had the whole actual eye and everything in there, was, again, another one that was really well done, but it just doesn't make up for the rest of it just not being done very well, and it's a massive disappointment. I said before, even though it was in my most anticipated shows for the fall season, I knew it was probably going to fall apart. I came into it with the expectation it will be another Junji Ito adaptation horror story, and sure enough, it is. I dread, if episode 2 is like this, I dread to think what happens with episode 3 and 4. Anyways, I'm getting in a circle here. that's my thoughts on Uzumaki. I wanted it to be good. There's still points in it that are still good. It's just unfortunate they're skipping so much stuff. And like I said before, the animation's the least of the problems. It's just plain out not being adapted right. It's not nailing what makes Junji Ito. And that's the unfortunate thing. But I hope you guys enjoyed my video. As always, if you did, hit that like button down below, comment. Let me know what you think of this crap storm. What do you think of this? Additionally, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Like this content, you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it, it does. Until next time, you'll take care.